Fellow progressive forces, I have a question for young people who are in this country, who are unemployed in the main, South Africa, who are unemployed. I just have a question as to what are you really benefiting from billions of rands which are being wasted by the government, in terms of deporting the so-called people who are illegal in our country and deporting them, and tomorrow they are back. You deport people and tomorrow they are back. Don't you think that actually the solution should be the African integration, because in that way we are going to save a lot of money. So we need that money to start creating jobs for you, because this is what happens. You need to understand how this thing works, right? Politicians who've got tenders, who've got contracts with the state to really deport people from time to time. The more they deport, the more money they make. And those people are left to come back, and then that is a cycle, wasting money. And what do you benefit from that? Don't you think we lack leadership in the African continent? Don't you think your leaders are the ones that actually, in the absence of the African integration, that we are going to engage in wasteful expenditure? And in that regard, jobs are not going to be created, because that money can be redirected and channeled into building factories so that you can get a job, South Africans, and not utilizing the money to really deport people the next day they are back. No, the solution is we need African integration. We need African integration. We are going to save money. We are going to actually, through African integration, we are going to deal decisively with crime. Why? Integration simply means that we are going to link the system. We are going to link the system. By the way, the so-called disintegration, this disintegration benefits criminals. And let me tell you how. If they steal your car in South Africa to Mozambique, you can't recover that car. Why? Because we are disintegrated. But if the system was integrated, it will be easy to recover that car very much quicker. Very much quicker. So we need to link the system. We need to integrate as African continent so that we can deal decisively with crime, the question of drugs and all of that. That is the only way we can deal with crime. And we can actually, including creating jobs, by the way, because once we are integrated, that will mean it will be very easy to really do business in the African continent, so to speak, because part of the reason why we are not moving as Africans is these economic borders, right? It is these economic borders. Imagine 30 currencies in the African continent, more than 30 currencies. What madness is that? I mean, Europe is a continent. Do you see any? I mean, they've got no 30 currencies. They are using euro there, and it is easy to move freely in Europe for Europeans there. But we as Africans, it's not easy. As a result, we will forever be poor. You need to understand that the reason why you are unemployed is precisely because you don't know that there are opportunities in the African continent which we need to really take advantage of, particularly after this intra-African continental free trade area which was agreed upon. So please, we need to understand that wasteful expenditure is at the center of our problems, and the reason why you are unemployed, young man. The reason why you are unemployed is because your country is engaged in wasteful expenditure, right? Why would you allow a president, a head of state, to appoint 2 deputy ministers? For what? How much are we losing in that regard? Bodyguards on this side, bodyguards on that, both houses paid by the state, paid by you as taxpayers' money. And that money should be building factories in the township, but it is not being utilized to do that. And you come back and say Zimbabweans are taking your jobs while your government is not building factories. It is engaged in a situation where we waste money by deporting people tomorrow they are there. As a civil rights organization, we need to understand that if you make it difficult for people to access documents, you are opening doors for criminality. Make it easy for people to access documents, right? Because we want everyone to be accounted for. We are not happy with these criminal elements that are happening. What do you do without a document? You can't open a bank account. You can't open a company. You can't find a job. Literally, you are actually dead when you are still alive. So that is not going to help us. We need a situation where government make it easier for people to access documents, and this should be the case in the whole African continent. It can't be that it is difficult for a black child to access documents, and we need to really do away with this self-hate that is going on here. We need to understand that integration is the only solution, because integration simply means that we are now in line with Agenda 2063, by the way, which is to really ensure that Africa is actually free when it comes to unity and moving freely in the African continent. Moving freely in the African continent doesn't mean that we should open doors for criminality. No, we just need a situation where everybody is accounted for. That's all what we want. But that was a question for you South Africans who are unemployed and your money is really being wasted on wasteful expenditure. Thank you.